There are way too many superhero comics out there, and when it comes to manga, there's usually a lot of battle shonen. Now, I do like me a good superhero comic, and I do like me a good battle shonen, but when it comes to comics and manga, I usually prefer the stuff that's a little bit more down to earth, like Barefoot Gen, My Lesbian Experience with Loneliness, and some other comics that I'll point out right here. And one of my favorite comic artists ever was Marjane Satrapi when it came to her story called Persepolis. So Marjane, she grew up in Iran, or Iran, depending on how you pronounce it. And the story centers around her childhood living in the timeline of the Iranian regime and, her teenage years in Europe and then coming back to Iran. And it's a very interesting story based on a true experience. This book, it calls out a lot of the issues with her country, and it actually makes me glad that I live in a more developed country, to be honest. I mean, you gotta think about it. The reason why Marjane had to go to Europe was because she had the audacity to talk badly about her government and the teachings of Islam. That warranted her having to go to another country for safety. In America, you can make all sorts of crazy threats online, like you can threaten to shoot up a school, and no authorities will take any action whatsoever until it's way too late. That's literally what happened with someone like Nicholas Cruz. But in Iran, you say something negative about a religion or the government, it could be a death sentence, it could be imprisonment, it could be beatings. In fact, in Iran, there's a moment in the comic where Marjane's mother warns her about Iran. And here's the thing, they can't execute virgins in Iran. They can't execute virgin women. So what they do is that they get a guard to marry an imprisoned woman and rape her so they can have authority to execute her on their teachings. That's just the messed up reality of Iran, and it's still like that to this day. The comic mainly focuses around stuff that happened in the 80s and 90s, and not much has changed. And it's not just about, the women having rights issues. The comic also exposes how men are also under strict oppression under the Iranian regime. It's a terrible regime that restricts people's freedoms. I mean, for the love of God, they can't even play a game of cards without having to worry about some sort of Iranian police busting down their doors because, hey, card games are considered Western decadence. And yeah, it's a pretty sad story. But there's also a lot of funny moments in this story too, because this is going over in Marjane Satrapi's life. She's even so humble that she decided to even go over some of her more embarrassing and funny moments in life. And this comic called Persepolis, it also has a really good animated movie. The animated movie has less than the comic, but the animated movie is still so good that you can still watch it without needing the comic. Although I still strongly recommend that you go out and read this book. It's not only educational, but it's also interesting and well written. That being said, I don't really pay much attention to the news. And, like 2 hours ago, I just found out that Marjane Satrapi passed away. And I never knew her personally. I only know her from this book and a few interviews I've seen of her. And it's a very tragic loss. She passed away at an age that's way too young for today's standards. And yeah, it's sad, And it kind of reminds me because at the start of the book we see Marjane's experience from her view as a little girl, and in a creepy sort of way. Or no, not in a creepy sort of way, but we see her grow over time and change and, just grow into a full-blown woman by the end of the story. And seeing that and finding out that she passed away, it's just tragic, I wish her, I just want to say, I want to tell her to rest in peace. and I hope the best for her family. And I hope that one day her home country will come back to its senses.